Hello everyone. In this video, I will be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Samina Pasha to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let us go through the key developments and insights in Samina Pasha's words. The news is quite significant given the current situation that has developed after the United States attack. There are many updates related to that. On one hand, we see that the United Nations Security Council has convened a meeting, and in Pakistan too, the National Security Committee has called a session. At the same time, condemnations are pouring in, and the reactions to these developments are quite intense. The Iranian ambassador also held a press conference today in Islamabad. What he said regarding Trump's nomination was particularly meaningful. We will also update you about the airspace used during the attacks and the statements made about that. There were also claims that Iran's nuclear facilities were completely destroyed by the United States. We will look into what evidence has surfaced about that. In addition, we will also talk about a major financial scandal in Punjab, or you could call it a financial mismanagement revelation, amounting to about 1 trillion rupees. We will go into detail on that story in today's vlog, so I request you to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Let us first talk about the hot issue, the Iran-Israel war. You already know that after the recent United States attack on Iran, the situation has become extremely serious. China has also condemned the attack. Russia has also denounced it, even saying that many countries are ready to provide nuclear assistance to Iran. This is a very dangerous development. On the other hand, the Iranian foreign minister has made important statements saying, "People are asking us to come to the negotiation table, but we never left it. We were always in favor of dialogue. Even before the first attack by Israel, we were negotiating. So those who launched these attacks should explain why they sabotaged the process." He also announced he would visit Russia soon, and possibly a decisive response or strategic plan might follow. So far, it looked like it was a one-on-one situation with Israel, but after the United States' involvement, Iran now appears to be seeking broader regional support to take on America. The United States has clearly stated that while they are not planning further attacks, if Iran retaliates or targets American personnel, then further and more severe strikes will follow. It is worth remembering that Iran does not have to launch a direct missile strike into the United States. It can target United States military bases in the Arab world, where a significant number of Americans and military assets are present. This makes it easier for Iran to retaliate. Iran also seems to be aiming to bring other countries in the region on board if the conflict escalates. The United States has warned that any Iranian retaliation will result in much more dangerous counterattacks that could destroy Iran entirely. Iran has responded strongly, saying, "You have picked a fight and you will face the consequences. Surrender is not part of our history. We are fighters. Whatever the consequences, we will fight with full strength. Then you will know who you have messed with." There is also speculation on whether Iran's nuclear facilities or materials were actually destroyed. Despite United States claims of a successful strike, evidence from various sources suggests otherwise. If there were active nuclear materials like enriched uranium, we would have seen radiation effects in the area, but no such radiation has been observed. The International Atomic Energy Agency also confirmed that no radiation was detected, indicating Iran's nuclear assets may not have been present at those locations. Furthermore, some Israeli intelligence sources, as reported in various newspapers, suggest Iran may have relocated its nuclear assets before the attack. Reports mention nearly 16 trucks seen near underground bunkers, indicating possible movement of these assets. Some United States media outlets have also reported that although there was partial damage, Iran's nuclear capabilities were not completely destroyed. The United States targeted 3 different sites, but none resulted in substantial success. However, it is clear that the United States is now deeply involved in this conflict, which has increased the risks for President Trump. There are now widespread protests against Trump in various regions. People have taken to the streets, chanting slogans, accusing him of dragging the United States into an unwanted war. Even some Congress members have started talking about impeachment efforts against him. So far, this attack does not seem to have brought Trump any significant benefit. Iran's nuclear capabilities remain intact. and Trump now faces domestic backlash and credibility issues. Additionally, Iran has announced its intention to close the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic waterway through which nearly 20% of global oil trade passes. Iran's parliament has approved the proposal, and it now awaits final approval from Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. If this closure is implemented, it could lead to a global oil shortage and a spike in oil prices, bringing significant stress to international markets. This would be a major and dangerous move. Meanwhile, United States Senator Marco Rubio has urged China and other influential countries in the region to intervene and persuade Iran not to proceed with closing the Strait of Hormuz to avoid further escalation. On another front, Iran's president spoke with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif via phone and expressed gratitude for his show of solidarity. He also called Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to seek diplomatic support in the region. In another development, the Iranian ambassador held a press conference today and was asked about Pakistan nominating Trump for a peace prize. The ambassador was visibly surprised and remarked, "If those involved in war are being awarded peace medals, then who deserves punishment?" It was a strong yet diplomatically worded response, likely because he is stationed in the country and needs support. Maulana Fazlur Rahman also openly criticized Israel and the United States, saying, "If we do not support Iran, does that mean we support Israel? Clearly, we must support Iran." Now let us come to what is happening in Pakistan. But before that, let me tell you that a major news story was circulating widely. Some American accounts were spreading the claim that Pakistani airspace was used by the United States to bomb Iran. These accounts strongly promoted the idea that a commitment had been made and hence the airspace was provided. This led many people to doubt and start criticizing. However, ultimately, when the details of the operation were officially released by the United States, they clearly stated that Indian airspace was used. So now look at India's hypocrisy. Narendra Modi often appears to be more friendly with Iran than with Pakistan, yet he provided airspace to bomb Iran, so the American bombers that carried out the attacks used Indian airspace. They also revealed that the operation was named Operation Midnight Hammer, detailing the air routes used, the aircraft involved, and the nature of the bombardment. When Senator Marco Rubio was asked about the fact that many allied countries were condemning the attacks and not visibly supporting the United States, likely referring to Saudi Arabia, Pakistan or Turkey, his response was shocking. Rubio said that even though they are issuing public statements, behind the scenes they are still with the United States. In other words, he claimed that those countries were making such statements just to appease their people and for public relations, but privately agreed that Iran should be attacked. Now, if Marco Rubio is lying about these countries, then those countries should take strict action against him. But if he is telling the truth, then imagine the level of hypocrisy. These countries are privately assuring the United States of full support, while publicly issuing token condemnation saying, "We stand with Iran," and practically doing nothing. Now, a United Nations Security Council meeting has been called in New York where a ceasefire resolution will be presented. But look again, when such resolutions are presented, the United States, a permanent member of the Security Council, vetoes them. This has happened many times regarding Gaza as well. As you know, there are 5 permanent members with veto power. If even one of them rejects a resolution, it cannot be passed or implemented. The United States always uses this veto in favor of Israel, which is not even a permanent member. So when a complete ceasefire resolution was presented for Gaza, the United States vetoed it, and the same is expected this time as well. All of this shows that the United Nations has become largely ineffective. Look at its role on Kashmir, Gaza, or in matters of war. The major powers simply do as they please, and this institution is powerless to stop them, so this whole process becomes a farce. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, a National Security Committee meeting has been called where the Field Marshal who recently visited the United States will brief the cabinet members and other committee members about his discussions and what Pakistan's policy and role should be in the current situation. Strategies will be developed to decide how Pakistan should proceed. This meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. I do not expect any dramatic press release from this meeting. It will likely result in the standard position that Pakistan supports Iran and condemns the attacks. The full discussions in such meetings are never entirely revealed in the press release. Still, it will be an important forum and we will see what comes out of it. Now, coming to what is happening within the Punjab government, there have been reports of serious financial irregularities. According to a report published in the Young newspaper by Ansar Abbasi, based on objections raised by the Auditor General, financial mismanagement of about 1 trillion rupees, 10 kharab, has been uncovered. Let me explain that such financial irregularities do not always mean direct theft, like someone pocketing money into their own account. These include a variety of systemic issues, loopholes, undocumented spending, and absence of complete financial trails. Still, this is a huge figure and should not be ignored. This is not a small amount like a few crores, this is trillions. And if it is happening right under the nose of the Punjab government, someone must be held accountable. Let me summarize the key issues. There are 14 cases of fraud and misuse of funds, totaling around 31 billion rupees. 50 cases relate to unpaid dues and recoveries, amounting to 254 billion rupees. 21 cases of financial mismanagement involving 1,106 billion rupees. 45 cases of wrongful purchases totaling 43 billion rupees. These irregularities span across sectors like health, agriculture, and education. For example, if a project was approved for 100 million, it turned out that 200 million was released from the Treasury, and there is no record of where the extra 100 million went. Even for public awareness campaigns and publicity, extravagant amounts were spent unnecessarily. Take the example of student scholarships or laptop distributions. Why is there a need for large-scale ceremonies everywhere? These cost money. One event for publicity is understandable, but organizing grand events everywhere is just wasteful. Similarly, they reportedly spent 32 billion rupees just on lifting animal waste during Eid. Has this never been done before? Why did it suddenly cost this much? Have they found a treasure chest of public money to spend so recklessly? Huge advertisements, banners and posters, often with pictures of Mariam Nawaz, were installed even on trash bins. All this was paid for with taxpayer money. Meanwhile, the public is suffering. People cannot pay their electricity bills, they cannot afford basic groceries, and over 100 million people have fallen below the poverty line. Yet the government continues to burn public money on public relations and self-promotion. One news report even stated that 1.5 crore rupees were allocated just for decorating a commissioner's office. Another report from journalist Zahid Gishkori revealed that 29 crore rupees were misused in a fake anti-dengue campaign, with no trace of the campaign ever being executed. So much for the model governance everyone is talking about. This is the same government that the establishment is praising for doing a fantastic job. The reality on the ground is shocking. While it may appear as if social media influencers or so-called celebrity ministers are doing well, the truth is that under their noses, massive corruption and mismanagement are happening, and they do not even seem aware. They are too busy making videos. This is the state of affairs. That wraps up our translation of Samina Pasha's video. I hope this English version helped you understand her message better. Please like, share, and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.